everybody, it's Catherine of Ghana Made, and welcome to another episode of Find Your Way Back. On today's episode, we have entrepreneur and creative Kwamina, who says to come to Ghana with your palms open. Hi Kwamina.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome to Find Your Way Back. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to connect with you all.
Amazing. So before we get into what you're doing here in Ghana, I'd love to know a bit more about yourself.
Yes, so I'm Kwamina Van Dyke. Depending who you ask on what side of the continent, I go by Kwamina or Van Dyke. I'm a 27-year-old multidisciplinary entrepreneur. I have a few jobs. I would like to say I drink in color, so I work a lot in the creative arts. I attended HBCU, which is historically black college and university at Hampton University, is where I graduated from. I have 4 siblings. My parents are Gans and Fanti, and I live in Washington, D.C.
Amazing. So you live in Washington. Why not Ghana? I know you're back and forth.
Yeah. You know, I've spent the last 3 to 4 years figuring out how I can fully transition to Ghana. I think every time I'm ready to do that, I feel like I put something up that kind of, not puts it on a halt, but pushes the transition period to fully come back. I think I'm trying to set up in a way where I'm making dollars. And so, but the transition is coming quite soon, God willing.
Okay, so you said you started thinking about moving 3 to 4 years ago. What brought that into your head to start thinking about that?
You know, I actually knew I was always going to live in Ghana. I started making the actions to move to Ghana 3 to 4 years ago. But like, when I was in college and I'll be dating random, like just these women that aren't Ghanaian, aren't African. I'll be like, hey, my name is Kwamina, would you live in Ghana? And so like, I've always known that Ghana would be home. But 3 to 4 years ago, I felt like a calling to push to come and make this like a permanent residence.
Okay, so what are some of the actions? Because it seems like you're taking your time to ensure you've put things in place. So what are some of the actions that you've taken?
Yeah, so I try to come, I would say, anywhere between 2 to 3 times a year. I don't take any jobs in the U.S. that doesn't allow flexibility for me to take off anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to come. I started basing a lot of the creative work that I do, entrepreneur work here in Ghana, kind of ensuring that I'm always coming back and forth and it's fluid, and then just building a lot of relationships within like the Ghanaian diaspora community.
Okay, so how have you gone about that? Have you seen friends from back in the States that have moved to Ghana, or you simply came to Ghana and made friends out here? How did that work?
You know, it was like by force. Like, I flew here, I think 2018, and I flew and I didn't know anybody, right? I had my cousin stuff, but like, I implanted myself like within like the millennial Ghana diasporans and just started one by one meeting people. And then a couple people I met, I came back like during that summer and like literally started staying in different Airbnbs throughout the city. So forcing myself to meet different types of either professors, entrepreneurs, any service work. It didn't matter. Like if you were Ghanaian, you were here, I'm talking to you. I'm staying in your compound or doing whatever, just so I can get a full breast of like where Ghana is now and how I could fit in.
I love that. I love that you're doing your research and making sure that you put yourself in the correct spaces. So would you say someone that wants to move to Ghana should try and do that? So that's coming to Ghana as often as possible and putting themselves out there.
Yeah, like I think, I wouldn't say everybody, but I say Ghanaian Americans have a dichotomy that they exist in that I don't think a lot of different cultures and other Ghanaians do too. So in the States, right, I'm a Black American. I identify as Black, right, but I'm also a Ghanaian, right? And so those oftentimes aren't always the same, right? A Ghanaian won't say he's a black before he says he's Ghanaian, then African, right? And so growing up, I always felt like I existed in both worlds. And so now I thought it was important coming back, right? Understanding the world that I'm coming back into, right? And how is that embodied on the other perspective of like not having America. Granted, I can't divorce the reality of I grew up there.
Of course.
But I still want to know the perspective of those that embody being Ghanaian and have grown up in it. And so I think it's extremely important for anybody coming to return to really immerse themselves like with the community in whatever respects that looks like for them, whether that's just family, whether it's just in their respective fields of work, socially. For me, I couldn't really start creating and working until I got a feel like what is Ghana for a millennial, right? What is Ghana during the summer, during Christmas, during Easter, right? During the rainy season, right? What is Ghana to the ones that have gone to university abroad but grew up here, to the ones that have never left Ghana, right? To the ones that had never gone to school at all. And so I just took it upon myself to spend an ample amount of time with a vast amount of Ghanaians. So if I'm on the beach, I might meet a Rasta there, and like his only job is to help another guy sell paintings. And he's like, yo, come to my house, come to where I stay. So I'm like, all right. And so I'll spend the whole day at wherever his house is in Lombardi, in his community, meeting his people. I don't know anybody, but like, let me just sit, be quiet, and I'm just absorbing, right? And then the next day I might spend time with the seamstress, and the seamstress is telling me how she's doing this and that, right? The next day I'm spending time with like a university person, and then I didn't even know there was a thing of this, but like staying with a few other people on Airbnb, I spent time with Rastas that are vegetarians, right? What do the vegetarian Rastas look like in Ghana? What are their lifestyles like? So, I mean, it's been an array of people, and it's really giving me like a broad perspective of what it is to be Ghanaian and where I fit in as well.
I love that. I love how open you are as well. I hope that many people can adopt that same mentality because it will honestly help them as well. Let's get into what you do, your businesses. Would you like to share?
Yeah, so I have a few businesses. The first is called Millennial Mayhem. It was an online platform I designed to affirm, uplift, and impact millennials to be whomever and whatever through the mediums of social media networking and campaigns. Also doing social events. So I do social events in the States where I'm bringing diasporans together and empowering during different conversations, whether it's like police brutality or like just black male empowerment. And then as well as doing like blogging, videos, and so from that I also have a production company.
Wow. So
I shoot like mini docs, also documentaries, full-length documentaries, and the last business I have is called the Mayhem Collection, and it's a luxury collection line of duffel bags and kaftans that I've designed to meet the luxury millennial traveler.
Amazing. You've been keeping yourself busy.
I'm tired.
But it's good. When did you start these businesses and have you brought them to Ghana yet?
Yeah, so Millennial Mayhem was started when I was in grad school. So that was probably 2016, 2017. And it was started because I felt like I played American football on scholarship, right? And then like I said, I went to HBCU. Then I studied abroad in New Zealand, but I also was like still really ingrained within Ghanaian culture. And I was like, yo, this is kind of like mayhem. Like I could go play in the NFL, but I could also go move to Ghana, but then I also be a film director. And I was like, I don't think I'm the only one dealing with this mayhem as a millennial because of the information era that we grew up in. I feel like there's a lot of other millennials that sit in this mayhem of trying to figure things out and what it is. And so with that, creating like a online platform and community of people encouraging like, yo, we're all figuring this out. Right. So that started in 2016. I started shooting film back in, I would say 2014.
Wow.
I just knew that I wanted to tell stories.
Right.
And I felt like the storytelling that I wanted to do was through the lens, right? So I started a minor in it and took like 18 credits in college to really learn what it was to be a director, to be a producer, and an independent like filmmaker. So I started doing that in 2014, made it an actual company last year.
Wow.
When I started shooting a documentary. And then the Mayhem Collection started during COVID. I travel a lot. In 2019, I went to 13 different countries.
Amazing.
And I realized as I was traveling, I'm like, man, I can be going to so many different places, right? I could be meeting with Catherine in the morning, and then I'm meeting one of the president's ambassadors in the evening, then I'm going to the gym, right? And I want a bag that's versatile, that can do all that. It can carry all the things I need, right? It's still stylish, and I don't really know too many bags that are there that are serve that purpose and are black. They were made for black people, and they were made for someone who does a multitude of things and that lives within the midst of mayhem, but likes convenience and luxury too. And I was like, you know what? I just created myself. And so that was 2020. And I am in the process of bringing these businesses to Ghana.
Amazing. So what's the steps that you've taken to do that, make it possible?
Yeah, so I've connected with different entrepreneurs here in Ghana. So in terms of the bags, right, I'm looking to transition, right, bringing Ghanaian artisans on to help kind of create that, as well as manufacture, because I would love to create jobs here. And so I've started doing that by coming to Ghana more frequently, right, really looking to see like, okay, who are the guys that make leather? What type of leather do they make? How quickly can they turn this over? What's the shipping cost like? And meeting up with different entrepreneurs, right? Kind of hearing how do you go about like doing business internationally. So that's on the front end for the bags. In terms of like marketing, connecting with other marketing specialists, and really just doing like true like experimental market research, like beta testing, right? One of the things I found out that I didn't know prior to coming was a lot in Ghana, right? I think the matriarch of the family, the matriarch of the family is the woman, right? There's no debate, there's no question, there's no like, oh, who's this? We all know this, right? She does the shopping for the household, right? She picks up clothes for her husband and her kids, right? And so in creating that, right, my luxury bags are unisex, but if a woman's gonna be the one buying it, she might not buy the biggest bag, right? Because she might want to use it too, even though it's her husband's, right? I wasn't thinking of that, right, when creating these bags. So my bags are kind of like these duffel bags that you would see a lot of men with, but there are women that also use it as well. But here in Ghana, if you're a woman and you're shopping for your husband, especially at the price point that I sell my bags, right, you would want something a little bit more compact. No way I would have known that, right? Unless I was like really here talking, doing life with people. I'm like, you know what? Like, there's something else like that this, you're not gonna pick this up first because you can't use it, right? Not something I thought about when I first came. So I think it's super important to do that ground research and it's helping me. It's helping me a lot.
That's good. So what are some of the challenges? About bringing your business to Ghana, trying to do that?
I mean, I'm even having a headache just thinking. Like, I mean, there's a number of things, right? Like, actual getting good work, people you can trust, right? People to come through and do certain things. So I'll say I'm meeting with someone. This person might not show up for another 30 minutes, right? He might not follow through. You know, sometimes it could just be a loss of communication in just verbiage, right? Of what I'm saying I need versus what they're receiving. Also, like, there's just like a trust factor because if you don't know anybody's work, one person can do good work for somebody else because of the relationship that they have with that person versus me. You know, a lot of times I also get, because like at first you wouldn't be like, oh, like Ganajibo, like this is a real Ghana man. So, and it's not a good mindset, but originally they won't come off as like, oh, let me help my brother, but it's like, this is a foreigner. And so once that is broken, they recognize like, this be a real Ghana man. Okay, you know what? And so just even the time that it takes, right, to be able to break those silos of like, hey, you're working with another Ghanaian, right, and not like a foreigner. And then just sourcing, right, knowing where to source from, because in Ghana, there's not a number of catalogs I can go to and be like, these are the leather artisans, they're in Isagon, Achimona, Prom, this and that. But it's like, oh, go and talk to auntie who used to do leather, so-and-so's cousin, went to SOS, they'll know that. Like,
that in itself is a whole
process. Can you imagine? So I'm talking to 4 different people to get to one person. Now that one person is a bad man or woman, right? They know what they're doing. But to get there, right, it just takes time because I need to know people. And so I would say, you know, just sourcing human capital, right? I went to the Harvard African Business Conference in 2020, right? And the CEO of Access Bank said, Africa's most difficult problem right now is not the ability to work, is not ideas, is human capital, people to really execute the things that are really happening on the continent. And I see that firsthand of like kind of the skilled laborers that I'm looking for to help push the business forward.
Okay, amazing. So what final words would you have for someone young like yourself who wants to move to Ghana but they're unsure of how to even go about it?
You know, The first thing I would say, even before I give advice, is when you look back at your life, where do you want the days of your youth to be? Right? And that's something that really pushed me, is like when I thought of the days of my youth, my energy, my intellect, right, my charisma, who do I want to give that to? Gratefully, I'm not someone searching for like who I am, where my family's from. Like, go to Montpellier. They're like, they're there. They've been there for a minute, right? And so when I just think about that, regardless of how much capital I can make or not, I couldn't imagine, right, giving the days of my youth, giving my time fully to the West, right? And so my advice to anybody moving back is like, first just come and see, and come and see. And I always like, come and see with your palms open, right? I think a lot of time, a professor, I think Sylvia Tamale, she always says like, the West, the researcher always come and always glorifies the researcher more than the research, right? And so there's this mindset that when I come to the West, even as Ghanaians, we can come and like neo-colonize ourselves again, right? Thinking that I'm coming with a better solution, problem solving or whatever, where to me, you come with your palms open. It's like, hey, I'm coming just to see, right? And like, I cannot move and push forward unless I do this with those around me at every level. And so just an open mind and just to come first and see. I think if you have any Ghanaian blood, descent or whatever, the land calls for you, right? And that you can't deny. And so that you need to come and see for yourself.
Amazing. So informative. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to seeing what you have in store.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode of Find Your Way Back. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.